Hello, and welcome back to the Introduction to Mycotoxin module with the Global Teach Ag Network. We just described what mycotoxins are. Now we're going to go dip into the details of why we should care about these mycotoxins. What is the burden that comes with these mycotoxins? Starting from a historical perspective, toxigenic mold have caused food safety problems for as long as the food and crops have started being produced, harvested, and stored. This is not a current problem. This has been manifested for a very, 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 very long time. In history, starting with, for example, a case of St. Anthony's fire that happened in the Middle Ages, in predominantly in European countries, in France, for example, with ergotism being a disease that is produced when people consume these overly toxin-containing rye bread, because Clavicle propria would produce these alkaloid toxins into the rye, and then when the rye is used to make bread, people would overconsume these rye, like toxin-infused, toxin-contaminated rye bread, and it will lead to so many different problems, including like hallucination. People will start experiencing gangrenes, like loss of limbs, like different skin problems, hallucinations, different neurological problems, tingling and feeling fire, burning in sensations into their body, which was when the first ergotism was found. When they first thought it was some witchcraft problems, but it wasn't. It was because people were consuming these rye moldy like bread that would lead them to having these symptoms. Another good example is when in Russia, of course, during World War II, and there was scarcity of food. The people in Russia, especially the USSR soldiers, started consuming grains that were contaminated with mold, and they had higher levels of these fungal produced toxins, which would then again lead to hemorrhaging, vomiting, diarrhea, and it killed so many USSR fighters at the time. Another good example is the Turkey X disease. Turkey X disease manifested into 100,000. This is a story that I always think about because this is when aflatoxin was discovered. 100,000 birds, 100,000 turkeys died in England in 1960 because of they were all consuming the same meal, peanut meal that originated from Brazil, and they all died from this consumption. It shows you how much these like fungal toxins infused in food and contaminating in food is not a current problem. It's been happening for a very long time, and it's manifested into like really big outbreaks, like different cases that I just explained. So that's why it's really important. And currently, about 60 to 80% of global agriculture crops for food and feed are contaminated by mycotoxins, with about 25% regulatory, with about 25% above the regulatory limit, which means when you consume about 25% of this food that's produced, you have a chance of being exposed to diseases that come with public health concerns that come with consumption of overly high level contaminated crops. This manifests in a world where we're struggling to feed people, and like the food that we're producing, for example, especially cereal grains that we just saw, where their cereal grains are staple for bread production and everything that we eat currently, different dishes from different regions. And it shows you how important these mycotoxins are, because it causes these food security, because now we're producing food that can be consumed, economic and public health concerns that will go deeply into the details in the next couple of videos, showing you that this is something that we should be really thinking about, and we should be caring about and trying to reduce in our supply chain system. So in the next video, we're going to be talking about the food security burden that comes with mycotoxin contamination of food. Thank you.